Welcome to the new normal. I'm your host, Gwen Lisa, and I am back. I'm back here for you in the community. Was not feeling well for a few days, but fighting through it. And with a little instruction from our buddy, Uncle Cliff, I am feeling much. I did not have the vid or anything. Don't worry. But anyway, I want to catch you up. I'm a little bit out of the loop, so I've got my brother TPA here with me to catch me up, but let's see what's going on. I'm expecting a lot together with our families. Hopefully you all are with your families and friends and have an opportunity to be thankful together and spend Thanksgiving thinking about all the things we can be thankful for in this time. We will do a Friendsgiving happy hour this Friday on the channel, but we probably will not have a episode tomorrow. So let's jump into this and see where the heck have I been and what have I missed and what's going on. Right after this, give us a like, share this video. I premature woo-wooed.
I like that woo-woo. I swear to God, every time I see it, I think it's like the coolest thing in the world. Thank you, Sean.
Good video. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Satoshi Sean. Actually, I told him I would send him a link to join because I wasn't able to do a video with him last night. I was just feeling like terrible.
Yeah, let's get Sean on. I like when he goes into his stories. It's like my thing. He's going to be like a great old guy, like old guy who sits around and tells stories. Like
the thing is, he thinks he already is an old guy.
Well, he's
like
age, right?
my age. No, my age. I'm older than you.
No, isn't he like literally my age? No, he's like literally my age, I think.
Then I'm older than both of you. So
yeah, just a little.
I don't want to hear it. He's a grandfather, but he has like jumped head and heels into the role. And so he's like, oh, I'm this old man. Like, no, you're not.
Start smoking a pipe and telling stories about walking to school uphill both ways in the snow.
He thinks he is, yeah.
That's great.
No, that's crazy. So we're coming up on FIFA, Thanksgiving, all the big football games, lots of opportunity for screen time. I was relegated to my bedroom for a few days, and we'd never turned on the TV in there because I didn't know how to work it or anything. And so when you're stuck in there, I figured it out. And it doesn't have like our Apple TV, so I just have like smart TV.
Okay.
And so I was able to watch stuff on, I think it's called Pluto and Vizio Free or something like that.
Yeah.
And they have these really weird commercials where like the show you're watching is playing and then it comes up and it like pretends to do a sports event or sports announcers are talking. And I even looked one up and it said the Panther or the Eagles versus the Panthers or something. And they really are playing on Sunday, but they had the wrong time. And I was like, did they grab that from like an old time when they used to be playing? And it's like a fake, because then they mute them and they put in a weird commercial for like, I mean, how many off-brand phone companies have you seen now lately?
Oh, there's quite a few. Yeah. And there's
Mint, Vizzy something.
Yep. There's one Patriot Mobile now.
Just all these random.
Yeah.
Then they started coming out with, and I shared with you guys on the video and shared with my Patreon members the strange new banks and new banking apps. And there's just a lot of that stuff coming out in the commercials that are talking about like that one commercial where she's like, my bank and I broke up. It was just a not a give and take relationship. And it's like they had like her banker sitting next to her on the couch and he kept stealing the remote from her, or like she'd be eating, like he was like her date or her boyfriend and he was just like a taker. And then they're talking about fees and different stuff. And then she was like, we're breaking up. And she went to another bank or something, but it was another one of those very similar to what I had shared with the Old Glory about, they have the apps and whatever, but it's pretty simple and you are earning interest on your account, which banks aren't doing.
It's so small, it doesn't even matter. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you get your.
But at least it's not backwards. At least there's not negative interest rates like Europe had a while ago. I still might have in some places.
Okay.
So like you put in $1,000 at the end of the year, you get out like 900 and change.
I don't know. It's just a weird experience for me because I'm stuck. Oh, so I was away from my computer. Actually, that's why I was a little bit late logging in, because I hadn't had it set up since we were out of town this weekend. Because I came back and got sick right away, and so just never got it out. And so I was in like Normie land, and I was watching TV, and I like flip through. There's all these different news channels, and I like to look at different news channels to see what the different perspectives are. And I was watching, the different movies and stuff, and like this one show was like how I lost my dad to. I can't remember what the exact title was. Something about like the Republicans brainwashed him or something like this. And they just talked about how angry all the Republicans are and how, you can't even talk to them. And this one girl went as far as to say that when Obama was in office, she went home for the holidays and like her uncle like came out with a gun at her because she even said Obama's name or something. And I'm just like, what kind of insanity is?
That's the best they can do. Like, that's literally the best they can do is just make up fake stories still. I mean, that's what they always do, but
yeah,
they're still trying to make the divide. If we haven't seen now that this is about making divide, come on.
Yeah, it really is. Because the issues that they want us to be divided on really are things that,
What are the topics that they always try and divide us on, and who benefits from pushing those topics?
Mm-hmm.
It's where we are now. It's everything with what's being taught in schools. Mm-hmm. It's everything with this 300 genders. It's
things that should be decided in the home.
Exactly.
No matter what they are, you should have the right to decide those for your family. And so it shouldn't matter there shouldn't be a side on that.
Religion kind of got tossed, right? There's nobody arguing about religion anymore lately. There's no Muslims to dump on.
Well, no, because now
are they back now?
Because
scary.
What's his face is trying to get the Speaker of the House. And so he's claiming that if he gets Speaker of the House, he's going to run Ilhan out.
Well, she should probably be out for any number of reasons, none of which are her religious beliefs.
Well,
I mean, marrying your brother, just saying.
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
It's kind of weird. Yeah.
Yeah, there's all this hate coming out now. That side, they just keep pushing hate, divide. I watched a thing about Michelle Obama the other day, Michael Obama, and saying that she's got a new hairstyle, and it was like the newest thing.
Oh, yes.
All these tards are talking about it.
White people aren't ready for her hair, her natural hair.
Yeah, she didn't want to. When
nobody's worried about your hair, they're worried about your penis.
Right.
I mean, that's
big Mike.
That's
like a thing now, right? Like a lot more people know about that, right?
I think so.
I mean, she was saying, it was saying they, him, she, they, cat, dog was saying, the white America just wasn't ready for a natural black woman's hair. And so she always straightened it. But then, like you look up any star out there of color, they all got straight hair. There's a very, very, very few that have their natural braids and everything. Oh, and by the way, your braids are not cultural appropriation if somebody else uses that. They're called Dutch braids. Like, they're from the Vikings. Like, they're from a long time ago. And
I think a
they're
lot of
actually
cultures, I mean, women are smart. Women have been braiding their hair for a long time.
right, but they're actually
Yeah.
called Dutch braids. Like they don't say that, but it's called Dutch braids.
Oh, well, there you go.
Not that the Dutch have a very good, track record with that community going back there, but hey, it's got nothing to do with me. It's got nothing to do with you.
Oh.
It's got nothing to do with anybody that's alive today. And
Mhm.
yeah, I'm not taking responsibility for any of that.
No, it's the whole thing's crazy. But once again, that's more another thing to use for division is race. Trying to make people think that because your skin color is. At what point on this scale of skin color does it count that you're darker or you're black versus? Because like Charlie saw this girl, he's like, "Would you say she's black?" And I was like, "I don't know. Like, she's maybe mixed, or she was really light, but she maybe had some African American features and
Sure.
beautiful girl on this sports announcing thing." And then we start having this conversation about like, so at what point is somebody, and it's like, well, does that then go back to what you identify as? Because I think a lot of it is more cultural.
Exactly.
Raising a black child myself, I will tell you, and trying to learn about the culture in my area. And I went to a lot of natural hair conventions and lots of other things that I did anyway. And it's more of like identifying a culture or a way of living. It really has more to do with that than what color your skin is.
Exactly. And second of all, who the hell cares? Who
Yeah.
cares? Who cares? I
I'm
don't
with
care.
you.
I've never cared. I've never cared in my life. I
Yeah.
just don't care. If
Yeah.
if you're nice,
If it
I
makes
love
you
you.
happy,
If
that's
you're an
wonderful.
asshole, you're an asshole, and I don't like you.
Yes.
Like, that's what it is. It doesn't matter. Most
Right.
people, most assholes I know are white. Just
Mhm.
saying. And to be very honest.
If I could count them on one hand. Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
You know,
I think there's bad apples in every bunch,
of
but
course there is. Of course there
anyway,
is.
it's crazy, crazy,
It is
crazy.
crazy, but I think you're right. I think this is you're picking your ethnicity, picking your background is a choice of how you want to identify. I actually identify as mostly Italian, which of all I'm a super mutt. I'm like 6 different nationalities. My background's going right back to my grandparents. 2 of
Mm.
my grandparents were mixed nationalities. 2 of my other grandparents were straight from. One was from Italy and one was from what the hell am I saying? Germany. But yet I have Dutch, I have Irish, I have English, I have Scottish. I mean I'm a mutt.
I'm the same way. Yeah. I'm
So
like
it's
English,
like,
Irish, Scottish, Dutch, Polish, mostly Polish, I think, from my mom's
so
side. But yeah.
according to my genetics, which I'm not like the 1/1,000,000% that the fake Indian is, the fake Native American. What was her name? The chick?
um, Elizabeth Warren,
Elizabeth Warren, and she actually claimed to be Native
Pocahontas.
American.
Yeah.
I can I claim to be a Latino? Italian is Latin.
Probably.
I mean, why not? Why? I've never claimed to be Latino. I claim to be Italian. I claim to be
Hmm.
English. I claim whatever suits me. I mean,
Yeah.
what? Oh, can I be like multiracial and just say I like today I'm going to be
Like I claim
German.
to be an
Tomorrow I'm going to be
American.
Dutch. Yeah, that's what
Is
I tell
because
people.
that is my culture and that is my experience. I
Right.
think a lot of these people like do
But that's
cling
not a
on to
color.
this whole.
But no. This
I'm
is
not
about
claiming a
race
color.
and dividing. No, this is about race and dividing people. If you claim
Mm,
to be American, what color are you? You're cheating. You're cheating. What color are
mm,
you? This is about color. This is what they make it about.
yeah,
So what
the
was
distraction.
is that going around outside their game? Or just I'm American.
I just know in that one situation that Kevin, what's his face? Is it McCarthy? Kevin something. I can't remember his last name. I'm blanking. Sorry.
The political guy?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
Kevin McCarthy.
he's pledged to go after Ilhan Omar, and then she's saying, "Oh,
Oh, he
Anyway.
racist. Shut
Mhm.
up. Just shut up. You're a bad person. You're playing games in your job. You shouldn't be in there anyway. You're not a citizen, and you married your brother.
Yeah.
There's any reasons why you shouldn't be in that job. You're race baiting. You're causing division. You're not doing right by your constituents. Any numbers. I mean, I got another hand. Let's start using another hand of all the crap that person shouldn't be in there for.
I'm with you. I want to share something. Uncle Cliff was talking in his data, and this
New
came
video
up.
out today. A new
Oh.
thing out today. I don't know if you saw it. Very good.
The Substack. I saw a post from the Substack, and it said, "We're winning." I haven't read through it yet.
That was a good one.
I haven't read through it yet. Maybe we can look at that next. But I did send him this because he talks about Antarctica and gets really excited about all that.
Oh, there's a lot going on there.
He says that when we start seeing the last video that I saw, he said when we start seeing the Antarctica stuff, we'll start seeing the alien stuff.
It's coming out more and more.
So
more and more.
This says, are you guys seeing this? Hopefully you guys are seeing this.
Somebody just said something about there was a transmission that broke into a television, a live television station in the UK, and it claimed to be aliens, and everyone is like all up in the arms about it. I couldn't find anything about it, but a bunch of people were commenting about it. So it's definitely coming in right now.
I know that, or I think that I've seen some comms about like FIFA, and that's the largest watched event in the world.
Yep.
Is FIFA. And we're going into this holiday weekend. I wouldn't be surprised. And I just saw an article in mainstream validating Hunter's laptop.
It's all over. They're all validating it now.
They're all saying that he was the one that entered all of the information is created by him. Mm-hmm. They know when its stop date is, like a week before he turned it in, blah, 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 that it had to be him that put this information. So if some hack ends up exposing or playing some video on a FIFA screen or these big football games that go on over Thanksgiving weekend.
Wait, the Super Bowl is over Thanksgiving now?
No.
Oh, I was going to say.
Isn't that January? I just said some big game.
Mm-hmm.
But I could see that waking a few people up.
That'd be cool.
And if that was the red wave, that would be really shocking for people. Because, Trump's been like, oh, let's watch these videos. Let's watch these movies.
Right.
And he's, in his State of the Union, he said, basically, we decoded it. And he said, we have everything. And that they had the Gone with the Wind.
You have a screamer. You hear that? I'm just saying.
We can hear it.
Yeah. So this what she did in the supermarket earlier that I was telling you about.
Oh, nice.
She's putting her foot down. She's asserting her 2-year-old.
Self. Mm-hmm. I am here. You can put some pink on for her.
I'm old for this. I'm telling you. I'm old. I didn't realize how old I am with my gray hair and my bad back. Bending down to a 2-year-old in the middle of a store, promising her candy.
You're like, it's fine. Just give her the iPad.
Of course. Yeah. I try not to, but yeah, that's the quiet
No, I know.
Sorry to cut you off, but
no, you're good. You're good. Anyway. So, scientists may have found something unfathomably massive living under Antarctica. So it says currently posing a massive risk to the ice shelves down in Antarctica, which has only fueled research in the area to increase more and more, and for good reason.
Can somebody hold on a sec? Can somebody zap this out of here, please? There's a 69XXX fun in the chat posting like porn or something. Can somebody get them out of there, please?
Where are wrenches?
All the wrenches? Where's Ronnie? Ronnie, start beating them up. Ronnie's going to smack them with a wrench. Oh, I think they disappeared.
Well, I just tried, but it says error occurred, so maybe somebody beat it to me.
Good. I hope somebody beat it to you. I don't see him. No, I still see one up there. All right. The haters love us. Sorry about that. Ronnie.
Oh, I got to tell you, I got trolled today on Twitter, which I was just feeling better. And I was like, okay, I'll try to get some information so I can.
Ronnie's saying it won't go away, but just keep
That's
zapping them, guys.
weird.
Keep smacking with those wrenches, please.
Ronnie, sometimes it's blocked for everyone else, but because you have a wrench, you can still see it. So.
Oh, yeah, maybe that's what it is. I have a wrench and I can see it, so maybe that's
That may be what it is. Yeah.
My laptop does not have a wrench. That's a different account, and I don't see it on that at least. So
yeah, I think that's what happens. So back to Antarctica.
Sorry.
Climate change is currently posing a massive risk to the ice shelves down in Antarctica, which has only fueled research in the area to increase more and more, and for good reason. So blah, 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 studies, world icy surface. Okay. They've uncovered a massive living world below Antarctica's icy surface that could be as big as 5 million square kilometers. I don't even know how big that is.
That's big. Isn't it square meters?
It says kilometers.
Wow.
This is often thought of as having a hostile climate and been ground zero for changes that rising global temperatures bring. So for decades, they've studied the photosynthetic algae that forms around Antarctica in midsummer months, believing it only emerges when ice is melted, giving way for sunlight to reach the algae. So remember last summer, was it, when the red stuff was coming out of Antarctica?
Yes.
The rivers of red?
Right.
And they were saying like it was algae or something.
Well, we get a red tide around here every so often when it's like super, super warm down by the shore. It's a very Jersey thing, saying down by the shore. But
so it says, now, though, it appears that something massive may be living under Antarctica even when the ice isn't melted. Goes on to say that research suggests there could still be a massive amount of algae living permanently underneath the ice that covers the continents. Essentially, this would put a massive world living under the Antarctic ice, which is insane to think about considering how hostile we believe the area of the world to be because of its low freezing temperatures. For decades, scientists have believed that nothing could live under the frozen surface of Antarctica. The possibility of discovery
or said?
Have believed.
People believe in Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny too, so there's not much weight there.
That's true. Let's see. With more research, we could discover even more living under Antarctica. Like what?
Like the two holes that connect in Antarctica and the North Pole and the South Pole, and it connects through the hollow Earth. I'm just saying, the hollow flat Earth.
Seals, penguins, and other animals acclimated to that region still survive here, but the fact is that other life might quite impressive, especially when you consider how often algae and plankton rely on energy from the sun to thrive. The current belief is that the holes in the icy Southern Ocean could give the algae enough sunlight to power through the colder months of the year. So anyway.
So there's
they're hinting.
Yeah. All this information is starting to come out, and just look back at some of the information from Admiral Byrd when he did his expeditions down there. He supposedly tried to measure the circumference of Antarctica and went something like 7 times what it was supposed to be, and still never was able to finish measuring. And they finally just gave up on it, which would just be a continual ice wall around the whole thing. That's how that works, around all of the continents in the middle. For the flat earth crowd. And he spoke of going in underground caves that were 70 degrees, totally nice weather. Now, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure you're the same way. When I was, taught about, when I was indoctrinated, about what the North Pole and the South Pole were, they're the coldest places on Earth. It was like you go there and there's ice everywhere and you can't live there, and it's very inhospitable. But to find out about, Admiral Byrd from however many decades ago, literally was saying there's 70-degree areas here. You could, lounge around in your shorts.
That's wild to think about.
It really is.
Well, I guess if you think about snow being like insulating,
Sure.
Like we
igloos.
We used to go snowboarding and skiing and all that. And yeah, with the light of the sun and then having something that's an insulating factor if there's no wind. I mean, that could change a lot of things for you.
Yep.
So
Absolutely. Igloos. I mean, that's how native peoples lived for centuries. Makes a very good insulator. You know, you just get a little moisture inside that'll drip down to the bottom. I don't know. Cliff totally nailed it with that. There are so much more that I'm seeing about this alien thing. I do have one question about. So we know that there's going to be a fake alien invasion. My question is that if you look up and you see something up there, do you like give it the finger, or like is it like really like our like homemade UFOs that could still like shoot you with a laser beam?
I don't know.
Like
Can't answer that for you.
Yeah, because I'm tempted just to be like, F you all up there and like see what happens. But I don't want it to like really shoot me. I'm thinking it's Project Bluebeam, hologram
Well, there's more
stuff, holographic stuff.
Since I've been in Normie land, stuck in my room. There are a lot of movies about like there's this one called The Fifth Wave, where like this thing's circling around the earth, and more alien invasion kind of movies seem to be like pretty popular right now.
Absolutely.
There was also, I sent one other thing and I shared it with my patrons. This was the pyramids, discovery of 10,000-year-old underwater pyramids found next to the coast of Japan, thought to be false until more recent expeditions at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean. And I think we've seen, so this is more and more of that kind of information leaking out that used to be. So stuff like this where, whether it's the Antarctica and life on Antarctica or pyramids off of the coast of Japan, all of this conspiracy theory stuff is more and more coming out in the news and becoming mainstream. And I guess like we were speaking before we got started, and I guess the people are ready to hear this kind of stuff at some level.
It's just a matter, like we were saying, it's just a matter of hearing something enough times so that the first time or two that you hear something that's questionable or so outlandish, your brain as a human says, oh, that's crazy, forget about it, and you ignore it. But if you hear it so many times, you can start to say to yourself, well, maybe there's something to this, or your brain just kind of calms down and says, okay, let's face this with a serious attitude, and let's just hold off on our immediately writing off on it, and let's listen to it for a minute. Let's see what it's all coming out. There's people are so much more open to things now. I think so many people, thank God, being back. Well, I guess thank God, but being back on Twitter, the conversations being on my mandatory 2.5-year break. They wanted me to sit out and have a rest.
Not self-imposed, yeah.
Right, not self-imposed. Coming back now, the conversations that people are having and the amount of people that are talking about the things that we were talking about 2 years ago is staggering at this point. Nobody's referring to it as conspiracies anymore. They're literally having open dialogue about these, so many different of these topics that not that long ago would have just, everyone was, how many people were ragging on us? Oh, you guys are crazy. You don't know what you're talking about.
Oh my gosh. Well, Bix calls me his favorite conspiracy theory girl. But then if you watch his show, especially lately, he's like, okay, so I think they were printing these coins and they're keeping them. And I'm like, that's what I said, Bix, And then I've been sending some information to him and JC and John Claude as we found different things. And that latest, the judgment, which I don't know. Has anybody heard an update on the Supreme Court
no, I've been
decision from today?
No, I haven't seen anything on
I haven't heard any decisions, but I'm not.
Right.
I'm really out of the loop. I haven't been feeling well. So, but today was supposed to be what was it? Brunson versus Adams.
Something like that. Yeah.
I believe that's what it was. And it was to be heard in the Supreme Court. That should have some really significant outcomes for us. So that'll be interesting to see if that ends up happening. And then yesterday was the anniversary of JFK's death. Pretty amazing for one man to be killed and 7 injured with 1 bullet. That's, another amazing conspiracy. That
First
maybe
shot
one
through
day
the
we'll
neck,
have.
then shot through the head, then the guy in front was shot, and I mean,
all with 1 bullet. Pretty amazing.
I mean, I've been into firearms for quite a few decades now, in my old age, and I've never had anything happen like that. That's weird.
No, yeah. And then so I sent that, and Jason responded. He's like, "Yeah, I saw that." And he's like, "I'm keeping my eye on that." And then Jean-Claude texted me today and asked if me and Bix and Snippy would join him on the 1st.
I saw that. I was going to ask you about that.
So I'm not sure when that is, but next week or something, next Thursday.
The stream is on YouTube saying,
oh, okay, cool.
Get ready for it. Yes, I was looking forward to that.
Yeah,
that'll be fun.
That will be fun because do you know what else I shared with them? And I was screaming and jumping up and down and saying, "Hey guys, but here, Public and I went through the whole thing, and there's this part, and there's this part, and there's this part about the NDAA, about the National Defense Authorization Act of 2021." And I don't know if any of you guys in the chat have bumped into this Derek Johnson, but he was recently on Nino. He's been on several things. He was on with Diamond and Silk. And I had found him through, Charlie had found him on something before that. And he's like doing this code of law or code of war. It's that book that Uncle Cliff talks about.
Okay.
And so he's former military. I believe he says he's former military intelligence. I can't remember what branch. But he goes off on just like why when Biden was at the I'm sorry, I'm totally blanking.
At the inauguration?
No. When it was Biden's funeral, and why it was a funeral. If you understand
I'll send
military,
you that video. We can thank Mom for that one. Mom's all over that. My mom is all over that guy.
Okay.
And this guy, I forget his name, and
Derek Johnson.
Yes, he posts. He's got all the links there where you can actually look up what he's saying.
Okay.
So it was a 3-gun salute, which is a funeral salute, versus a 21-gun salute, which is.
So we did a show about that.
Yeah, we did that.
Okay. So we did that a while ago. Yeah. So he's talking about that again, which I was like, okay, we talked about that. I know, but I didn't realize that's where we got the information. Okay. But then he's also talking about the NDAA and how it was the largest transfer of power in the military, and how, all the crap we were saying, and how, the finance and the property of the, is it the Air Force has now been given to like all those Air Force bases and whatever. So all of that has been sold to or given to, it's all in like SpaceX and the
Space Force.
No, yeah, Space Force and the Army. Is that right? It's all in the Space Force and the Army, and then the Marines. But the Marines are in the Navy, aren't they?
The Marines, so I believe they're part of the Navy, but the Marines are the only branch that's directly answers and follows orders from the president, correct?
Okay. I don't know.
I mean, I'm not 100% with this. I'm going from memory.
Sorry, I'm still a little foggy and not feeling well, but
you get a pass. You have nice hair tonight.
Okay, well, good. I did it just for you guys.
Thank you.
Because after this, I'm washing my face and getting back in bed. But anyway, it's just like I was beating my head against the wall and sending that to people and screaming about it. And it was like the people weren't ready for it.
Right.
And here we are a year later, almost a year later. And I guess it had to take, and then, what was the thing I just heard? Maybe it was Derek Johnson said something about, yes, I think it was him now. Something about how the Fed had to take I'm going to say this wrong. The Treasury had to take the Fed and then hold those dollars, or I'll have to go back and look at the clip, or you guys can go watch the interview with David Nino to get the details. I'm sorry, I'm just a little foggy still. But basically, he was explaining why we're having to wait this year. It's all like part of the law of war to take captive those dollars, and then
there's statute of limitations. There's rules that everything has been done so illegally and so improperly and
for so long
against the Constitution for so long that in order to do it the right way, we have to get off on the right foot. We have to start on the right foot. We have to do things by the letter of the law so that nobody can ever go back and say, oh, you cheated. Oh, you didn't do it right. Oh, it's not legal. This is our one chance in humanity in hundreds or thousands of years to set things right as far as all the wrongs that have been going on. We got one chance. We got to get it perfectly right. None of us like the timelines. None of us like how long it's taken, especially people who've seen this coming now since 2017, 16. You got to do this right. Otherwise, it's all for nothing and it's going to get thrown away. And by doing it the right way, it includes entrapment. It includes all sorts of other things. Because let's also not forget a lot of reason why none of these bad actors that we know who've done all these horrible things in the past with all sorts. I mean, the worst stuff on earth, right? They got let off the hook. They got exonerated when Obama was on the way out. He gave everybody amnesty or whatever, and he gave all a pass, and he wrote it all off, and they can't be tried again for the same things. So we're letting them do those things again, continue their games, capturing it all this time, just like the last thing with the tabulations of the thing that just went on, just like that. You got to catch them because now nobody's gonna let them off the hook. Now they're caught. Now it's legal. Now we got to do it the right way. The timing just sucks, though. The timing sucks.
But I think it all is perfect timing because it's a cleansing of. You think about like if you're working out and wanting to like build up your muscle, you have to tear it down first. You have to destroy and get rid of, if you're cleaning out a wound, you have to get all the dead skin off first. You have to get rid of, you can't just build on top of lies and cheating and stealing and harming people and think that we, oh, well, that's in the past and we don't have to look at it. We need to know about it. We need to put it in the light, cleanse it out of here. And it's going to be painful, to all of us because we have to find a new way of doing things because we have been slaves. I think back to the stories of, reading and learning about slavery in America and all of that. And there were several slaves that it was too hard to be free after being born. So there were slaves that were born somewhere else and brought here. So they had a free man mentality. And so that was probably a little easier for them if I had to imagine. But there were slaves that were born into slavery and that's all they knew was that way. And then to be freed, there are reports and in history books where they went back and asked their previous owners to take them back in because they didn't know how to behave or how to not behave, but how to make it in a freed society because that's not how they'd never had those choices or those freedoms before. It's the same thing as, if you watch an abusive relationship, a lot of times the person being abused will go back because they've been told what to do for so long and they're dependent, it's like codependent
Exactly.
relationship, very unhealthy. But
It
I
becomes
don't
normal
think we realize we have been slaves for so long. We
for
have been
our
told
entire
what to do.
lives, for
We've
our
been told to
parents'
ask
entire
for
lives.
permission. Oh, well, you got to go buy a house. Okay, what do I need to do?
Well, you got to get a job. You got to do that 9 to 5.
Mhm.
You got to write down your little budget. You got to pay your taxes. These are givens. These are the
Even the
givens
going and buying a
that we
piece
were
of
born with.
property and thinking you could build a home on it and drill and have water and make a home however you want. You got to ask somebody for permission to build a home on your own land. You have to
Right.
ask permission for drilling things on your
pay
own land
fees, right?
and pay fees and all of this asking permission, and you're not harming someone else. This is your property. And
Right.
you're choosing to live in it.
Right.
It's just, but it's this insanity that we've been indoctrinated into.
Exactly. It's a perfect allegory for where we are today, who we are today as a people. Nobody alive knows what freedom is. Our grandparents didn't know what freedom was. Nobody knows what true freedom is and how this country has deviated so far from the principles that it was originally founded on before it became a corporation. We'll never know.
Where it's going to be so painful because we're going to be like standing there holding our hands out, like how do we start again? And it's going to be like a toddler trying to walk, and we may fall down a few times, but hopefully we have a strong enough community to come together and find a way to support and love each other and build each other up and see the good things and put our energy into that and understand that our energy is our currency. Mm-hmm. Our value, our energy, all of that is our currency, not our money that they allow us to hold so they can manipulate us in it. So,
but even when we hold it, it still has someone else's name on it. It's never ours. We just accumulate it.
So that's the other thing. This
it's not ours.
And I think we're going to go back to bartering, which I'm super excited about. I'm terrible barterer, but my husband's great at, horse trading.
I would imagine he's really good at it.
I would imagine he's really good at it. So I feel like I got a little upper hand. I got a wild card in my pocket. But
a trump card?
Yes, a trump card. But I've been watching that. I've been in bed for like 3 days. So yeah, I've been watching a lot of TV. All my references are to, I've been watching this thing. What is it? The Pawn Stars or the Pawn Shops Stars? Or something like that. I love
that show.
Oh my gosh. So they are doing all this history, and they were doing this for a while. I watched it once before, and there's a whole series. I think I don't know if it's on Netflix or on Prime, but it's all about money. It's all about like currency history in the US. It's really interesting. And they are trying to teach people. And so then on these commercials, on this weird free channel, they'll show like we were watching this Swamp Thing last night. And they're talking about how this old turtle, when they get hungry, or no, it was alligator. It was an alligator. And when they get hungry and desperate, then they get real angry and they start going after things in their own neighborhood, in their own community and whatever. And I was like, oh, they're talking about Hillary, or maybe the Queen. I don't know. But
both reptiles, go figure.
Both reptiles, all the reptiles. Yeah. So then they showed like a commercial, but it wasn't a commercial. It was a Pawn Stars blip or sizzle. And they were explaining what a promissory note is. They're educating people through these little reality shows, and people aren't even really aware of it, but that's what's
But you hear it enough times now, you watch those shows a few times, when it actually comes that you need to practice that and put it into real life, you're going to be a little more familiar with it. But yeah, there's so many different ways of getting what you need in life. But yeah, even those of us that think we have a handle on things, we don't know anything. I say that all the time. We don't know anything. as
Mhm.
far as, the real big picture of things. We're going to all have to lean on each other. We're all going to have to learn. It's going to be difficult. One of the most difficult things, I think, going into bartering, especially in the beginning, is assigning a value to something. Unless things
Yes,
are
I
actual,
think it will be.
we know the value of something, unless we know the difficulty to obtain something, how can we trade that or barter that for something
Mhm.
else that we need? It's like, now, if
But I
somebody
think
were
that's the
to,
point though,
right,
public. It's going to be, well, what do you need? Well, I need this for my family. What do you have that you're not using? Well, I need that.
right,
What has a value to you? Because something, one man's trash is another man's treasure, that whole saying, like something that I might have, well, I can't use that. I don't know how to use that thing. It may be worth $10,000, but if I can't use it, it's worth nothing to me.
right,
It's a Picasso in the attic,
right,
you know? And if I can feed my family for, if I can buy a log splitter and be able to go to work and feed my family for, the next 6 months or 3 months through the winter or whatever, keep them warm, then my God, take it,
value,
whatever that is.
sure,
Yeah. So I think that's where it'll be, that peer-to-peer thing for a time. And that's where, Reggie's uh patents are all right there. He's got another announcement coming out soon. We were going to shoot a video for the third part of the amicus. We had been um, uh, included in the SEC versus Ripple case and our amicus. And so we were doing a breakdown. I've done part 1 and part 2 with Trey Cup, and he's on the very Dow. And so you guys can go watch that on the Very Dow channel. It's pretty interesting. And we've got an interview with Reggie over there. But we have to be, I keep thinking we're so close. And then I hear, Juan Savin was on with somebody and he's like, oh, no. Like, there's going to be a near death in America. Like, we have to go through the hard times. Like, we
right.
have to see. And so we're not even there yet.
Although
And if
arguably
that's
things are pretty
true.
hard now compared to how they were, let's say, 5 years ago.
Oh, for sure.
So, I mean, if we would have seen if we had a full comprehension of where we are now, if we could see that vision clearly 5 years ago, a lot of people
Yeah.
would
Could
say
we compare?
that's a gut
Could you
punch.
say?
That's the
I guess maybe when you're in it, you feel like, oh, we're surviving or we're making it.
right,
It is always when you come out of it and then you're like, oh my gosh. Whew.
right. Yeah, hindsight is
Uh,
going to prove a lot of this. And
Because when we're in it, yeah, that's
Uncle Cliff always says that too. You're not going to know until after the fact.
Mm-hmm,
You're not going to understand until after the fact. You're dealing with it.
mm-hmm.
As humans, we adapt, we adjust, we make changes, we move forward, we continue on. But that struggle isn't so much of a struggle. Sometimes it's a struggle, but not as big of a struggle until you come out of it and comprehend what you just went through.
I agree completely.
So
Trying to think if there were some more things that I wanted to share.
There was a lot this week. It's so refreshing being back on Twitter and seeing what people are talking about. Like I was saying, the whole tone of things has changed. Especially now that there's not so many bots out there. And
this was epic. Hold on. Wait. This guy admits to bribing the CFTC on Tucker with Tucker. This was pretty awesome. You guys should be able to hear this. Let me know if you can hear this. This is Terry Duffy. He admits to bribing the CFTC. You have to listen for it.
Assessed his character and his vibe because you met with him in person, but you also assessed the fundamentals of his company as someone involved in business would. Why did none of the regulators do that? Where was Gary Gensler?
Well, I don't know where Gary Gensler was, but my regulator at the CFTC, I asked them, why in the world are you in
assessed his character and his vibe because you met with him in person, but you also assessed the fundamentals of his company as someone involved in business. Why did none of the regulators do that? Where's Gary Gensler?
Well, I don't know where Gary Gensler was, but my regulator at the CFTC,
I bribed.
I mean, I asked.
Oh man, it's so crooked and criminal, and that's where it's got to get cleaned up so that the American dream can live again. Like, I want that for my children. I want that for my grandchildren. I want that for America. I want the hope that somebody could. The Cannon, he's 12 years old and he dreams about being an engineer and building roller coasters and
Cool
buildings, and he's got this beautiful creative mind. And to think like he's like always rigging something up and taking things apart, and anyway, which is wonderful, and I am encouraged that it just when they don't go back together all the time. It's kind of frustrating.
There was sometimes a few extra parts, but we're good.
Yeah, but I think for him to be able to have a chance, if he creates something, to be able to get a patent. And there's another show I saw, and it's Rooster and Buck, and you have like a business idea. It's kind of like Shark Tank, but for cowboys. You have a business idea and you go to Rooster and Buck, and they get to know you, and then they get to know your product or your idea. And if they like it, they will invest in it or buy part of your business or whatever. Well, the way they got their wealth is they're in West Texas, and they're in oil field work. And one of them needed something and found a patent, I think in Japan, he said. And he bought the patent for $130,000, and he sold the patent for $230 million later.
That's the way to make money.
Because he found a problem and he found a solution, and somebody else hit a patent for it. So he negotiated with them, paid them their patent, and then he was in the right market, had all the connections with the oil and gas people, and put it to work. It's pretty incredible. So those kind of stories where he's like, I didn't even finish the 8th grade, but I know how to work hard and I know how to think for myself. And, I'm just like, when I want that America back. I want it to be not this, crooked boys club where it's, oh, well, it's a guy I bribed. Well, right. And then they've got these morons like Sam Bankman-Fried running companies that, he's not running the company. It's all right. This nepotistic, their kids are getting put in places, and, and then, it's just, we need an even playing field to bring that American dream back. And that's what, my heart is for that.
American ingenuity doesn't stand a chance if there's somebody at the other end of thing, always willing to squash it, steal it, ruin it, make it against the law, talk bad about it. This is so.
Or just like what they've done with the Veritasium token holders. They submit for NALs, they submit FOIA, they just ignore them, and then threaten them offline through attorneys to try to paralyze you, to say, well, you just can't use it, can't touch it, but we're not going to tell you that in anything written. Right. So then, it's so crooked. It's just really wrong. So
starting over again, circle back to where we started, starting over again, starting over and doing things the right way, and giving people the freedoms and the ability just to be who you are, just to bring the ideas that you have and take your creativity and invent things and make things and bring it out to the world in an honest way. It needs to come back. You'll never be, or let's not say never, because you just gave a great case of some guy spending a couple $100,000 making a couple $100 million. But the chances of that happening it's like winning the lottery. You'll never be hyper successful unless you join the club.
Right.
It's impossible.
And what you have to do to join the club is sell your soul. And there's videos of
Well, just look at the
them
latest
saying
It's
that.
worse than that, because that's just you. That's just you dealing with the consequences of your choice. Watch the latest Kanye videos. Read, learn about what happened to Kanye's mom. Learn about what happened to Michael Jordan's dad. You know, there are trade-offs.
They
that have to be
started
made.
talking about Kobe recently, even.
Yeah, there are trade-offs that have to be made,
Yeah.
and you know, part of the rituals, and then there are blood sacrifices that bind all of these agreements together.
Just some sick bastards.
Yeah, that's how it's always been for our whole lives, our parents' whole lives, our grandparents' whole lives. None of us for generations know what true freedom is and what true opportunity is. No idea. No
Well,
idea. If you
something
start
to
a
look
business
forward
now,
to.
let's say you got the best idea in the world. You want to start a business. Right out of the hole, you lose 40% in taxes and fees and everything else.
Mhm.
I mean, that's not your dream. That's a piece of
No.
your dream. And then it's a struggle to keep it going. It's so difficult and so arduous and laborious to bring your dreams to life. That's one of the biggest things that's crushed the American dream, is that you can have the best dreams in the world. You can have the best ideas in the world. You can have cures for this and solutions for that. You can't do anything with it. If you try and do
Right.
something with it, Mr. Hydrogen cars that run on water, what happens? Nothing.
Yeah.
It goes away.
Well, something happened to him.
Something happened to him.
Yeah.
Everybody, like with electric cars, I'm not for electric cars so much. I think they're cool. I like how fast the Tesla is and that kind of stuff. But I mean, it's not going to save anything. You're just taking the carbon footprint and removing it from the physical car itself onto where the power for the car is coming from and the process behind it. You're just shifting it
And
away.
leaving more damage, because then you have the battery to get rid of, and they
which
don't
cannot be
last, and-
recycled.
Yeah.
And they end up in landfills. Awful,
Yeah.
awful. Okay, quick question for you. Do you know when the first now I read a couple different times on this, but do you know when the first electric car came out?
Well, it was some of that
Mass-produced.
stuff we were watching, like in the 20s or something.
So the early 1900s, or 1905, 1906 in New York City had more electric cars than horse-drawn buggies and gas-powered cars put together.
And they would move, like, the battery. It would recharge while they drove, and they'd move the battery to the next taxi. I was
They
watching
didn't have a
thing
very
about it.
high top speed because life was slow back then. They were basically modeling it after buggies, but they had a lot of torque. They had a lot of strength. They had trucks. These batteries had power, and they had a pretty significant lifespan, and compared to the battery powered vehicles that we have today. But the first battery powered vehicles were in the 1870s. 1870s. We had
Wow.
battery
I
powered
did
cars.
not know that. Yeah.
True.
That's
They only went
crazy.
15 miles an hour, but they lasted a long time. You didn't need to burn fuel. And what happened? What happened right at the end of the 1800s, early 1900s? The oil industry got huge.
Mhm.
So boom, gone. See ya. We're gonna pollute the world. We're gonna destroy the land. We're gonna destroy the earth, instead of some of these lead batteries that they have.
So you think we'll go back to electric, but it'll be
from the ether. It'll be Tesla.
It'll be
technology.
clean Tesla technology.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. It'll be Tesla technology. I think anyway.
I think that's what all these tunnels are going to be. They're going to be sending, because they're talking about how that can exchange energy through these tunnels.
Sure. Magnets. I mean, I believe when this actually comes into fruition and when things start actually working smartly in the way that is best for humanity and best for everybody, I don't think you're going to need a hydrogen cell. I don't think you're going to have to move this energy from the ether, energy from the universe long distances. You're basically going to have a tiny little set of magnets or something like this, like Uncle Cliff posted the other day, and you're going to get all the power that you need from this little tiny cell, and
I think the
just
power is
some
going to be
simple
from
magnets.
us. I think we are free energy.
Well, that's what the whole movie, the whole series, The Matrix, is about, right?
Yeah,
So
I think that's
I think
it.
that's a little, yeah, I think as long as people don't harvest it from us,
Right.
and
As you have,
keep us in those little pods filled with grape
yeah.
jelly.
Oh, maybe Veritasium can protect us from that too. We can
Yeah.
have our own data and our own power kept with us. I got to go take some more Alka-Seltzer or something. My head's killing me, but thank you guys all for joining us. I want to do a Friendsgiving. I'm going to hit up everybody on the show to try to join for a Friday night happy hour. If they can pop in and
I would love
or
that.
pop by, yeah, and
Make
say
sure I get
hi. And I'll send you a link.
Cool.
And I think that'll be great to everyone in the chat. Thank you so much for joining us.
Shout out to the chat. Love you guys. Thank you.
Love you. Thanks
I
for all
was
the
reading
information,
conversations in
too.
there. Everything
Yeah.
is great. You guys are such a warriors, as Iceland, Nancy Iceland says. That is a chat group of. There's a group of warriors.
That's
And
right.
they're
Oh, a water.
bringing forward the truth, bringing forward the change, and in an unselfish way, making life
Yes.
better for everyone, because that's what we do, man. That's how it's supposed to be.
Yes, I agree. All right. Love to you all. I'll see you Friday. Take care.